And finally, Thanksgiving travel is swelling to record levels this year, and Sean Duffy wants America to behave before the airport crowds hit peak chaos. The U.S. Transportation Secretary has launched a civility campaign urging travelers to dress better, use basic manners, and leave the pajamas firmly in those suitcases. He wants people to thank pilots, help elderly passengers control their out-of-control children, and stop treating terminals like their personal lounges. His retro-themed video paints a picture of a lost golden age of travel when passengers wore suits instead of slippers and didn't escalate arguments into fistfights or foot-on-seat battles. Here's our full report of Duffy's airport civility push.
Thanksgiving is almost here. Airports are filling. Tempers are rising. And Sean Duffy has a message for America before the annual travel crush begins. Put the pajamas away. Duffy, the U.S. Transportation Secretary, stood at Newark Airport like a schoolteacher addressing a restless class. 30 million Americans were preparing to fly home. And he wasn't their mother, he reminded them. But he did expect them to look smart, say please and thank you, and stop treating airports like living rooms.
You know, whether it's a pair of jeans and a decent shirt, I would encourage people to maybe dress a little bit better, which encourages us to maybe behave a little better. Let's try not to wear slippers and pajamas as we come to the airport. I think that's positive.
Thus began his Civility campaign, a nostalgic attempt to revive what he calls the golden age of travel. He said earlier, passengers taking a flight to Buffalo would dress up as if they were stepping into a private club. Suits, dresses, hats, dignity. The Department of Transportation even released a retro-style video. Grainy footage glows. Men and women glide into cabins in tailored outfits. Then the contrast hits. A barefoot passenger prods a screen with a big toe. Another man plants bare feet on the seat ahead. Clips show terminal fistfights, passengers swinging "wet floor" signs like swords, and one woman biting the shoulder of a flight attendant's uniform. Then, Duffy appears on screen inside an old-style TV frame. He asks Americans to rediscover decency. Help the elderly with bags. Control your children. Dress with respect. Behave like grown-ups. The golden age of travel begins with you, he says, pointing straight at the viewer. But the timing is awkward. The message came a week after his department scrapped a plan to require airlines to compensate passengers for major delays and cancellations. While some travellers welcomed the call for courtesy, others simply criticised, calling the campaign ridiculous, asking Duffy to resign, or even demanded more legroom. Duffy, however, brushed off the pushback. He arrived at Newark in a sharp blue suit and crisp white shirt, a picture of the civility he preached. "I almost wore jeans," he joked, "but I thought better of it." On the other hand, Americans, of course, already dress casually. Hoodies, leggings, flip-flops. Athleisure rules the concourse. However, etiquette experts backed Duffy. Pyjamas, they say, belong in bedrooms, not boarding gates. And clothing shapes behavior, they insist.
From an etiquette perspective, one's pajamas should be reserved for the privacy of one's own home or hotel room, where people are relaxing, and not in a public space.
With a record 31 million flyers expected, Duffy wants calmer gates, cleaner cabins, and fewer mid-air meltdowns. "You can't legislate civility," he said. "You just have to ask." So he's asking. No slippers, no pajamas, fewer arguments, more gratitude. Thanksgiving politics can wait. The battles, he says, can begin after you land.
I wore the crown of a revolutionary. I promised to lift my nation. I claimed to fight imperialism. I became the very thing I warned against. I funded militias across continents. I feared my own shadow. Some called me the King of Kings. History calls me something else. The dictator. Who am I?